Amateur radio Newsline will start in 5 minutes.
W8WKY.
Amateur
Line report number 2475 with a release date of Friday, April 4th, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams respond as a deadly earthquake rocks Thailand and Myanmar. In the U.S., Voice of America gets a reprieve, and a FRAM 2 spacecraft astronaut enjoys a QSO with her former school. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2475 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Union, Kentucky, here's Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
We begin this week with a developing story. A 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck near Mandalay, the second largest city in Myanmar, and rocked the region on February the 28th of March. Hams in Thailand were among those who were called up to help with communications, particularly amid the wreckage in Bangkok. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, has the latest.
As the death toll climbed in a number of countries, emergency communication took on paramount importance. In the South Asian nations hit by the earthquake, its strength was felt in Bangkok, Thailand, affecting that city's high-rise buildings. The search for survivors continued beneath the wreckage of one prominent tower that had been toppled while under construction in the city. Jakri Hantongkom, Hotel Sierra 1 Foxtrot Victor Lima, Emergency Communications Director of IARU Region 3, told IARU Region 1's Greg Moss of Golf Zero Delta Uniform Bravo that members of the Amateur Society of Thailand have been assisting the government with emergency communications in the city and in the surrounding area, utilising VHF. The death toll in the region itself was climbing well into the thousands as search and rescue efforts continued. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
We also begin this week with another developing story. Its long run of disseminating news to overseas countries under restrictive regimes may not be over after all for the Voice of America. VOA has succeeded in its court challenge to the U.S. government's decision to dismantle the International News Service. Workers at the VOA were among a number of international news services with the U.S. Agency for Global Media, who were told they were being taken off the air and put on administrative leave. Responding to a lawsuit by a group of VOA employees, a Manhattan federal judge acted on March 28th to halt the order that originated from the White House. The U.S. District Court judge called the agency's action a classic case of arbitrary policymaking. Radio Free Asia, another international news organization, is also seeking court action to halt its shutdown. Meanwhile, the news service Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, was spared its own announced shutdown after a different U.S. District Court judge ruled that the continued operation of these news services was in the public interest. Funding has since been restored through the end of the current federal fiscal year. Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty has been on the air since the beginning of the Cold War. Even as White House cuts to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration leave the agency's future operations in question, the next generation of amateurs has been training well to keep an eye on dangerous weather for the public. Randy Sly, W4XJ, has that story for us.
This is N0A, November 0 Alpha calling CQ, Special Event Station for Severe Weather Awareness, calling CQ.
If you worked N0A during the last half of March, you were talking with a member of the Skywarn YouthNet, which meets weekly to encourage severe weather monitoring by young hams across the United States. As most hams who are active during severe weather are beginning to age out, groups like this can help encourage a new generation of Skywarn supporters. The net was founded in 2016 by Jim Sellers, N0UAM, who is now a silent key, to encourage youth participation in reporting severe weather. Net manager Caleb Sfair, KE0FOE, got his license in 2015 at age 11 and joined the net 2 years later at the encouragement of his father, George, KJ6TQ. Caleb told AR Newsline about the beginning of the Skywarn YouthNet by Sellers.
He was the deputy director of Skywarn in the southwest Missouri. Simply put, he just wanted to have a simple check-in net that young hams would run to give them a chance to practice passing traffic and to try to encourage other youths to participate and then share and learn about basic weather information.
The Skywarn YouthNet uses a system of linked repeaters from various parts of the United States, along with Allstar Link, EchoLink, DMR, and Yaesu Fusion. Meeting on Sunday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, the net gives young hams an opportunity to share weather reports and learn more about participating in severe weather activations. Anyone young or old is invited to check in. For more information, you can visit skywarnyouth.net. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
The first spacecraft to orbit the Earth via the North and South Poles, the FRAM-2, has offered some unprecedented views of both poles and some high-flying ham radio transmissions, just as promised. John Williams, VK4JJW, brings us up to date.
Hours after the launch of the private FRAM-2 spacecraft from the U.S. on March 31st, astronaut Robbie Raga began the space team's scheduled transmissions of SSTV imagery, an exercise conducted as part of a high school and university competition for students. It was, however, a voice contact with the DK0TU Amateur Radio Club at the Technical University of Berlin that was among the FRAM-2's earliest QSOs. The brief question and answer session from space took place at the university where the German-born astronaut had once been a student herself. Much of the FRAM-2's ham radio activity was designed to be SSTV transmissions from space, carrying the four astronauts' views of the polar regions. They were transmitted in fragments, puzzle style, challenging students around the world to piece them together to form a complete picture. The FRAM-2 mission is named to honor the Norwegian-built ship Fram that carried researchers on polar explorations in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This amateur contact and all transmissions that were to follow engaged in another form of exploration. In anticipation of the decommissioning of the International Space Station by 2030, hams have been in search of other possible sources for radio contacts from space. To hear the QSO between the astronaut and the students in Berlin, see the link in the text version of this week's script at arnewsline.org. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
An amateur radio operator who gained a following in western Pennsylvania as a DJ and later the host of conservative talk radio has become a silent key. We hear more about him from Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
Jim Quinn, W3VEX, got his start on the professional side of radio at KQV-AM as a top 40 DJ, and later with the giant WTAE. In the years that followed, his broadcast career delivered roles as a morning DJ on other music stations during the rise of FM Top 40 radio. Moving later to WPGB-FM, Jim became a co-host of a conservative radio talk show. He was a well-known voice on the air, particularly among Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania listeners. Jim became a silent key on Sunday, March 30th. No cause of death was immediately given. In all, he had more than 4 decades in commercial radio, from Pennsylvania to Cleveland, to New York City and upstate Buffalo, New York. His amateur radio career lasted even longer. According to his page on QRZ.com, Jim was first licensed as a teenager while living in his native New Jersey. He was 82. This is Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
Hams in Arizona are grieving the loss of one of their own, a well-regarded member of the Mingus Mountain Repeater Group. We hear more about him from Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
It took very little time for Dan Crouch, KF7DC, to find a home with the Mingus Mountain Repeater Group in Arizona. Not long after he got his license in 2012, he found his way there and soon became part of the Mingus Mountain Roundtable. He served as a moderator of the Roundtable for many years. Dan became a silent key during the weekend of March 15th. He was a full-time minister for more than 50 years, serving for 20 years at the Fountain of Life Community Church in Prescott Valley. In announcing his death on Facebook, Patrick Brower, N7ATG, Vice President of the Mingus Mountain Repeater Group, recalled the prayers and strength Dan was able to provide for others, especially when members of the ham radio community or their families experienced a loss. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the W8 WKY repeater in Doylestown, Ohio, on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. local time, right before the weekly SARA Net at 8 p.m. Each year, the Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award receives nominations of promising young hams who truly impress our judges. It is time, once again, to give them an opportunity at the recognition they deserve. Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger here in the continental United States, someone who has talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio. Do you know someone who might qualify to receive this year's honor? Find application forms on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. Nominations are now open. We are accepting nominations through May 31st. The Antarctic Beacon VP8ADE has gone silent after 46 years. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, gives us those details.
There are no more signals from Victor Papa 8 Alpha Delta Echo on Adelaide Island, the ice-covered island off the Antarctic Peninsula's west coast. The last day on the air for the 28 megahertz low-power research beacon was February 21. It was put into service in the summer of 1979 at the British Antarctic Survey Base of Rothera. Its tour of duty was originally supposed to have lasted only 3 years as one part of a research program, according to Lawrence Howell, KL7L, who was the base radio operator at the time. The beacon's collection of critical data on global ionospheric propagation of the F2 layer proved so invaluable that it continued operating for another 4 decades. The beacon shared a small wooden hut with a 1950-era aircraft navigation beacon and with research equipment used for ionospheric D-layer scintillation research used by students of ionospheric researcher Dr. Roy Piggott. VP8ADE was proposed by the Radio Society of Great Britain. It was coordinated with the British Antarctic Survey and with the Falkland Island Radio Regulator. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
There's a vacancy to be filled in the popular Islands on the Air program, and hams who are knowledgeable about IOTA are being encouraged to apply for the volunteer position. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us more.
The Islands on the Air award scheme is in need of an experienced amateur who can serve in the voluntary position of checkpoint for Brazil, a post filled since 2009 by Luciano Sampaio de Souza, PT7WA. However, he has recently informed the board that he now needs to step down. The ham who fills this post must demonstrate knowledge of the IOTA program and rules, have good English proficiency, and possess the ability to process online applications. Interested applicants should send details of the skills they would bring to the task. Email Roger Ballister, G3KMA, at the address that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Applications are due no later than the 21st of April. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The names included in the CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame represent the best of the best that ham radio has had to offer through the years. Originated by CQ Magazine, the Hall of Fame is now overseen by Ham Gallery, which selects amateurs with impressive personal operating records, as well as achievements that have enhanced the lives and experiences of their fellow amateur radio operators. Inductees may be living or silent keys, and they are chosen via nomination. The nominating window is drawing to a close. You have until the 15th of April to submit the names of your nominees to Tom Roscoe, K8CX, using email address k8cx@hamgallery.com. That's k8cx@hamgallery, that's one word, .com. Notifications will be sent out by the 30th of April as to whether the nomination was accepted or not. See the website hamgallery.com for more details. In the world of DX, Flavio IW2NEF is operating holiday style as 8Q7EF from the Maldives, IOTA number AS013, until the 10th of April. He is using digital modes and sideband on 40 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Koji JI1LET and Takashi JA1UII will be on the air as JD1BOI and JD1BON, respectively, from Chichijima, Iota number AS031, and Ogasawara from the 8th through the 17th of April. They will be using CW sideband at FT8 and FT4 on 160 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. The Amateur Radio Society of Moldova is using the call sign ER100 IARU to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the IARU and can be heard on the air through the 30th of April. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Jim, K6EI, and Scott, KK6IK, are on the air as FJ-K6EI and FJ-KK6IK from St. Bartholomew, Iota number NA146, until the 12th of April. They will be using CW, FT8, and FT4 on 80 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Amateur Radio Newsline's own Ed Durant, DD5LP, will be active as 5B-VK2JI-P from Cyprus, Iota number AS004, holiday style, between April 6th and 20th. He plans to activate HEMA, POTA, and SOTA sites with even the chance of a BOTA, that's beaches on the air, activation. Ed will be using 20 watts of power sideband on 40 through 10 meters, but expects contacts into Europe, North America, and Oceania. Watch each of the scheme spotting pages to see when Ed is on. If you work Ed, let him know that you're an AR Newsline listener. Community protests against unwanted towers are often in the news. In this week's final story, however, we visit a community in the state of Maine that has been very sorry indeed to say goodbye to one particular radio tower. Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us why.
American science fiction writer Stephen King is author of, among many things, the Dark Tower series of books. Now, another tower that used to be his, an AM radio tower more than 400 feet tall, has gone dark. It was formerly used by WZON 620 AM in Maine, one of 3 of the region's radio stations that used to be owned by the writer. The tower had stood since 1937 when it was first used by WLBZ, the radio station's call sign in its earliest days. Citing the financial struggles of 3 area radio stations he owned in Maine, King announced last year they were going to end their run. WKIT, known for its classic rock format, still is on the air, having been saved at the last minute after being bought by a media partnership known as the Rock Lobster Radio Group. WZON AM and WZLO FM went silent on the 31st of December. However, recent local news reports say that both stations will return under new ownership. A company called Mixed Maine Media was buying them from King, along with an FM translator. WZON's tower, however, still had to go. Local residents' affection for this long-time familiar site drew them out to the scene of the demolition on Wednesday, March 26th. The prospect of the station's return, however, did cheer them. And so, when WZON played its final song last December before turning off its transmitter, its words rang true, but only for the tower. The song was REM's The End of the World as We Know It. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Have you sent in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org, and each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to ABC.AU News, Amateur News Daily, Associated Press, David B. RK7DB, Facebook 425DX Bulletin, Greg Mossop G0DUB, Inside Radio, Jack Ree, Huntacom, HS1 FVL, Lawrence Howell KL7L, Patrick Bauer N7ATG, QRZ.com, Radio Amateur Society of Thailand, Radio Inc., Radio World, Shortwave Radio DE, Space.com, Trib Live, WABI, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG in Union, Kentucky, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. All rights reserved.
Timeout. 15-second lock. Timeout. End.
November 8 Whiskey. Bravo. November 8 Whiskey Bravo. Also.
NAWB, this is KC8HDP. You were kind of breaking up there, Stefan. The Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association hopes you enjoy the weekly broadcast of the American Radio Relay League's audio news. Oops. Amateur Radio Newsline. Excuse me. Wrong program. Did you catch that Sarah was mentioned as an affiliate station? And we thank you for listening. We hope that you will stay tuned to the W8WKY repeater for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association's weekly Tuesday night club net. We're going to have a round of in-and-out check-ins. Then regular check-ins. We're going to have trivia from our trivia master, W8ELM Eric, and a couple of announcements. So I hope that you will tune in and that you will check in with us and be part of a great net. So with that, this is Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa, standing by for the Sarah net at 8 p.m.
November 8 Whiskey Bravo Allstar.
NAWB, this is Casey at HDP. You were perfect that time, Stefan.
All right, Roger, Roger. Appreciate it, my friend. I'll be here when you call me. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. This is KC8HDP standing by for the SARANet at 8 p.m.
NAWB standing by.
KC8HDP, AA8CF.
AA8CS, this is KC8HDP.
Good evening, Jerry. Good to hear you. And just wanted to check in and say you sound fabulous. Not that a radio check is necessary, but just in case you wondered, you sound really good, and so does stuff in there. KC8HDP, that's all I got, Jerry. I assume the Trivia Master has your trivia question tonight. I do have one in the slot, just in case, but I'm I'm sure Eric has you handled. KC8HDP, AA8CF.
Yes, I reached out to Eric this afternoon, and he said he will be here with a trivia question. So that is awesome. He always has a fantastic trivia question, and yours have been pretty good lately, too, Gary. But anyway, would you like me to put you on the list for an in check-in?
Well, as long as that's not considered cheating. Yeah, you can do that, or I can. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Less clutter, right? But anyway, yeah, no, I'll be here for the duration, and looking forward to Eric's trivia question. And thanks for the shout out on my questions. The reality there is Eric's questions are so doggone good. I had to raise the bar. Unbelievable. Anyway. Yeah, that's what I got. All right, Jerry. Have a fabulous net tonight. Break a leg, and we'll talk to you again real soon. KC8HDP, AA8CS. I'll be standing by as well.
The weekly Sarah Net, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes.
Well, Eric sets a high standard for sure. Good to hear from both you, Stefan and Gary. But have you both in the logs, and we'll catch up with you on the net. This is Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa, standing by for the Sarah Net at 8 p.m.
W8WKY.
I'm Sandra, and I'm with 2A Drive. Today I have the RMU 2040 from Motorola. I've already taken all the components out of this box, the radio, which already has the antenna attached, the charger, and the power cord. Assemble this all together. As I mentioned, the
YouTube videos really only work when you can see the video. KA8LYJ. KE8WVV. Yeah, it sounded like someone was watching YouTube and their cat was playing with their mic or something.
Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
CQ. This is Whiskey 8, Whiskey Kilo Yankee, calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Weekly Tuesday Night Club Net. We meet here every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the W8WKY repeater, which is located in Doylestown, Ohio, and operates on a frequency of 147 Mark 390 megahertz, and we use a PL tone of 114.8 hertz. This net is open to all licensed amateur radio operators. No club affiliation is needed, so we hope that you will check in with us. This is a directed net, so all traffic should be sent through net control. Emergency or priority traffic may break into this net at any time. Your net control operator for this session is Jerry. That's Juliet, Echo, Romeo, Yankee. My personal call sign is Kilo, Charlie 8, Hotel, Delta, Papa. That's KC8HDP. But during this net, I will be doing business as Whiskey 8, Whiskey Kilo Yankee. I will take a short break to reset the repeater and be back with a couple of announcements. This past Saturday, April 5th, the SARA held its second VE session of 2025, and here to tell us all about it is SARA's VE team leader, N8WB, Stefan. Stefan, take it away.
KC8HDP, November 8 Whiskey Bravo. Good evening, Jerry. Good evening, everybody on the net tonight. So Saturday we had a great session. We had Bill Knopf, KN8, WDK, Doug Hunter, KE8, JN8 sitting at the table. Appreciate them for doing the check-ins all the time. Phil, Costanza WB, 3K, Choo-Choo's, WW8TM was one of our VEs. Phil was one of our VEs. Jerry was a VE, but he stepped aside KC8HDP to let our newest VE, Robert Moorhead, K88LYJ, take the first session that he has done. So I do appreciate that. We had Eric Elm, W8ELM was there as well, and myself. We had one person that took the test. We actually had two, but one person canceled at the last minute because they had to go do a babysitting duty. We understand that, and they were trying to come in as a tech. So, but we did have Gary Glaze, N8, VFW, who took his test and passed general. So if you hear Gary on the bands, he is not a member of SARA that I can tell, but if you hear him on the bands in the general portion, and you hear N8 VFW, please give him a holler and say congratulations. Other than that, it was a great session. We have another one coming up June 7th, the same location, Sharon Center United Methodist Church, and then our August session will be in Wayne County. And man, think about that. We're like 4 months away from our August session. Oh man, the year has gone fast, and we don't even have the heat yet. We're still in the freezing cold. But anyways, Jerry, I'll hand it back to you. I won't be able to stay on net tonight, but I do appreciate you being there Saturday and everyone that was on the team. And everyone have a great evening. November 8, Whiskey Bravo. Back to W8, WKY 73, my friend. Thank you for letting me do this report.
Well, thank you for being willing to come on the net and give that report. Really appreciate it, and thank you so much for being VE team leader and for all you do for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association. Okay, the next SARA Club monthly meeting is April 17th. That's 1 week from this coming Tuesday. It is at the Wadsworth Eagles, located at 9953 Rittman Road in Wadsworth. We have a special guest this month. The program presenter is Brett Stemmen, KD8SCL, who is ARRL Ohio Section Emergency Coordinator. Hope everyone comes out and see what Brent has to say and support Ohio ARRL Aries. Okay, that's all I have for announcements. Are there any stations with net announcements? Okay, nothing heard. So we will get this party started, and we will start taking in and out check-ins. So if you would like to be an in and out check-in for our net this evening, you can do so by using your call sign followed by your name.
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Golf KF8G Brian and Norton in and out.
KE8 VOX Kilo Echo 8 Victor Oscar X-Ray Scott Vermilion in and out.
November 8 Whiskey Bravo Stephen Sharon Township in and out.
W8WKY.
Whiskey 8 Charlie Tango Mike Carriot Portage Lakes in and out.
WA7KOE Whiskey Alpha 7 Craig Mobile. I'll be in and out.
Kilo Echo 8 Juliet November Hotel Duggan Ribbon in and out.
Kilo Echo 8 India Mike Echo David Sterling in and out.
Kilo Alpha 8 Mike November Tango Tom in Canton in and out.
November 8 Whiskey Sugar Bill in New London in and out. But listening.
Whiskey Alpha 8 Kilo Oscar Charlie WA8 KOC Fred in Akron in and out. Have a good night, Jerry.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo WK Phil in Canal Fulton with no traffic. Have a great evening, Jerry. It's 7 for y'all.
Kilo Bravo 8 Victor Hotel Mike KB8 VHM Tom and Green in and out.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Lima Bravo KE8 TLB Randy and Redmond. Good evening, everyone. I'll be in and out 73. God bless.
Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Hotel Golf KE8 DHG Doug and Norton in and out.
Okay, I'll pick it up there. Okay, on the in and out list, we first have N8WB Stephen, KF8G Brian, KE8VOX Scott, W8CTM Carey, and then Craig, all I got was WA7. Could you come back and give me your suffix? Okay, thank you, Craig. We also have KE8 JNH Doug, KE8 IME David, KA8 MNT Tom, N8WS Bill, WA8 KOC Fred, WV3K Phil, KB8 VHM Tom, KE8 TLB Randy, and KE8 ZHG Doug. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to be in and out for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association's Tuesday night net? If so, use your call sign followed by your name. Okay, nothing heard, so we're going to go to regular check-ins. So if you'd like to make comments and take a guess at our Trivia Masters tantalizing trivia question for this evening, you can call now and use your call sign followed by your name.
WKY, this is Kilo Delta 8 Sierra Lima Golf, KD8 SLG, Nick, down the farm.
W8WKY in the net, Whiskey
Whiskey 8 Tango Delta, John.
November Tango 8 Delta NT8D, Dave and Copley.
Kilo Echo 8 Whiskey Victor Victor, KE8WVV, Ethan in Manway.
Kilo
Whiskey
Foxtrot
2
8
Juliet
Delta
Lima
Tango
Sierra
Papa
John W2 JLS in Fairlawn.
DTP Lori and Maslin.
Alpha 8 Charlie Tango AA8 CT Craig in Shreve.
Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Romeo, KE8 ZZR, Harry and Wadsworth.
W8 Gulf Mike Fox, Whiskey 8 Gulf Mike Fox, Gary and Worcester.
This is WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John from Massillon.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Zulu Alpha, KE8 VZA, Eric in Strongsville.
Okay, I'll pick it up there and let you know who I have so far.
QV, Mark, and the North. Sounds like a lot of our morning people are getting ready for morning by checking in and out. It sounds like KSF QV. Well, I'll be in.
Okay, so far I have AA8CS Gary, KD8SLG Nick, W8TD, John, N8TD Dave, KE8WVV Ethan, this is Gloria here. I have you doubled with John. I think I have this KO8 DTP. Is that correct, Gloria?
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Delta Tango Papa, KF8 DTP, and it's Lori.
Oh, my apologies, Lori. I have you as Kilo Foxtrot 8 Delta Tango Papa. Okay, thank you, Lori, for the correction. We also have W2JLS John, AA8CT Craig, KE8ZZR Harry, W8GMF Gary, and WO3X John, KE8UIB also John, KE8VZA Eric, and KC8FQV Mark. Do we have anyone else who would like to be an in-check-in, to make comments and answer the terrific trivia question? If so, use your call sign followed by your name.
W8WKY, this is Whiskey Delta 8 Lima Alpha, Neil and Metropolitan Brewster, back to net.
KF8 AHI Kilo Foxtrot 8 Alpha Hotel India, Mike Barberton, I'm in and out.
We've added WD8LLA and Neil. Good to hear from you. And KF8AHI Mike. One more time before we get the trivia question. If you'd like to be an in-check-in, do so by using your call sign followed by your name.
Kilo 4 Oscar Golf, K4OG, Mark and Copley.
All right, we've added K4OG, Mark. Very good. Okay, let's now go to our master of trivia, W8ELM, Eric. Good evening to you, Eric. Thank you for being here to do the trivia. What is your trivia question for us this evening?
W8WKY.
W8WKY from W8ELM. Good evening, Jerry. Well, the other day I had to change a shoelace in one of my shoes, and the little plastic thingy on the end was gone, and the end was pretty well shredded. It was a used shoelace. So the question tonight is that plastic sleeve on the end of a shoelace that allows easy insertion into the eyelet of a shoe is called what? Is it A, alpha, an aglet, B, bravo, a nib, C, Charlie, a sheath, or D, delta, a knock? The plastic sleeve on the end of a shoelace that allows easy insertion into the eyelet of a shoe is called A, alpha, an aglet, B, bravo, a nib, C, Charlie, a sheath, or D, delta, a knock. Back to net.
Well, Eric, that is definitely another head scratcher. I am going to take net control operator privilege and wait to answer that question and think about that for a while. And while I'm doing that, we're going to go to the list of in-check-ins. And first on the list this evening is our fearless leader, Alpha 8 Charlie Sierra. Good evening, Gary. Thanks for joining us on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what comments do you have for us?
Good evening, Sarah and friends. Well, as far as the trivia question is concerned, who knows what that is? A little plastic sleeve. It's a little plastic sleeve. So I go with I opt for the question. It's a little plastic sleeve. But I'm sure it has a name. Of course it has a name, or Eric wouldn't have brought it up. Another great question by Eric. Well, I can immediately, using Shorter's postulate, rule out C. Man, I don't know. I'm going to think about it just for a second. But I do want to mention the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Hamfest on Saturday. What a good time that was, and it was just a fabulous opportunity to see a bunch of guys I haven't seen in a while. That was great, and boy, I'll tell you, eyeball QSOs are worth $1 million at least $1 million, maybe even two. I would up the ante any time on an eyeball QSO. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was good seeing a whole bunch of people. I actually sold a couple things. I was a vendor for the very first time ever. Had never gone to a Hamfest to sell anything. I've gone there to visit. I've gone there to buy. I've gone there to annoy. But very first time to actually sell. So it was a lot of fun. It was good seeing everybody. The weather cooperated for the most part, and I think a good time was had by all. So, again, that was fabulous. Okay. fine business on Stefan taking care of the VE session that day. That's a good thing, and we do appreciate all the work that he does with that. That's for sure. All right, back to the trivia question. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to go with Alpha. I don't know any other way to go about this, although B sounds really good. That even sounds good enough to eat. Anyway, I'm going to go with Alpha, Jerry. Hey, good job on the net tonight. I want to welcome everybody. Have a fine business time this evening, and don't forget the barometer net in the morning. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We got the Beacon Net tomorrow night, so lots of cool things going on. So be radioactive. We'll talk again soon. By the way, the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association membership meeting is coming up on the 17th of this month. Yeah, a week away. That's it. So don't be tardy and bring a friend. Come on down. It's going to be a good time. All right, that's all I got, Jerry. Take care, and we'll talk again soon. KC8HDB, AA8CS.
Well, thank you for joining us once again on the net this evening, Gary. Thank you for your comments. Always a pleasure. And I have your trivia question answer as Alpha. And yes, the meeting, the 17th, special guest Brent Stemmen, ARRL Ohio Section Emergency Coordinator. So come out and support him and hear what he has to say. Okay, we're going to clear with AA8CS now, and we are going to go to the second in command, KD8SLG, Just Nick. Good evening, Just Nick. Good to have you as part of the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And W8TD is on deck.
WWKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening. Jerry and all the Sarah Club netizens. Good to be here. I'm going to do trivia first. I'm going to go with A. I like the sound of Aglet. Sounds like some obscure name. Missed going to the Hamfest, but that would have killed me. So did miss seeing all of you all, but maybe I can make the next one. And I'm going to try to make a meeting. It's on my list of things to do. Fine business tonight, Jerry. Thanks a lot. KD8SLG, back to net control.
Well, thank you for joining us on the net this evening, Nick. And, yeah, look forward to having you at a meeting again. Things just aren't the same when you're not there. So looking forward to that. And sorry you missed the Hamfest, but hopefully you'll be able to get some more later in the year. I have your trivia question answer as Alpha also. And thank you once again for joining us. We're going to clear with KD8SLG now, and we are going to go to W8TD John. Good evening, John. Thank you for checking in with us this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what other comments do you have for us? And NT8D is on deck.
W8WKY and the net. Whiskey 8 Tango Delta. Oh, fine business on all that has gone before. I really hate to follow the crowd, but Egglet sounds very familiar to me. If it isn't that, it's something else. So I will have to guess Alpha and hope that that's what it is. I know it's something. Let's see, your roving reporter. We transited the Panama Canal today from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We're currently headed due south. We're about 9.5 degrees north of the equator and headed further south, but we're not going to cross the equator on this trip like we did last month. Be at sea all day tomorrow and hoping to arrive at Punta Arenas, Costa Rica the following morning. It's been steady 80s for several days now. Had a brief rain just as we entered the first set of locks, but the rain ended and it's been dry ever since. I did notice on my porch camera that there was snow on the steps and on the yard this morning. So, 73 to all. Hope to see everybody someday. Talk to all again soon. WWKY in the net. W8TD.
W8WKY.
Well, we really appreciate you checking in with us on your travels. It's so good to hear from you and hearing about your adventures on the sea. And thanks for checking in with us. Good to hear from you. And I do have your trivia question and answer as Alpha also. We're going to clear with a W8TD, and we are going to go to NT8D, which is Dave. Good evening, Dave. Good to have you here. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what other comments do you have for us? And KE8WVV is on deck.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday, terrific Tuesday. I'm going to go with Alpha for my answer to the trivia question for tonight, so we'll just scratch that out of the way. Chilly day today, but the sun did come out. The birds in the backyard, I've got a birdhouse in the backyard, and the birds are really mad that the bird bath has been frozen in the morning, and so when I let the cat out in the morning, they're all out there chirping and being mad at me. One of them was sitting on the bird bath when it was frozen this morning, just yelling at me, and then her or his partner, whoever's in the nest with him, jumped on their heads, and so they're really mad about this weather. They're like the cats. They think it's my fault. Let's see. Just kind of finishing up some traditional Hungarian goulash that I made yesterday. It was good yesterday, and even better on the second day. And looking forward to seeing some folks at the meeting and see if there's anything else I have for the net tonight. Nothing that comes off my side of the head. If there's anything, I'll check back in. Thanks for the net, and everybody have a wonderful week. NT8D, back to net control.
Well, good to have you part of the net, Dave. And yeah, a lot of times leftovers taste even better than the second day. One of my favorite lines from TV is from the Beverly Hillbillies. Granny was making possum innards, and the head of the oil company that bought their slough, they asked him to stay for dinner, and Granny said she was making possum innards, and Jed said, "Did you hear that?" And he says, "Yes, quite clearly." And Jed says, "You know the thing about possum innards, they's just as good the next day." So, very good, Dave. I have your trivia question marked as A, and we'll catch up with you later. We're going to clear with NT8D, Dave, and go to KE8WVV, Ethan. Good evening to you, Ethan. Good to have you as part of the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us?
KE8WVV. Good evening, everybody on the net. I don't have a very clear guess on what the trivia question is, but based on what it looks like in my brain, I'm going to say C, sheath, because it's a plastic sheath that keeps the fabric in place, I guess. That's my guess. Let's see. I did make it down to the Cuyahoga Falls Hamfest with my dad there. He also says hello to everybody in the net. And we saw a couple people there. Saw Gary over at the Sarah Club net, or Sarah Club group table. We didn't get a chance to talk to you, though, and because we were on our way to go pick up a prize that we had won, surprisingly. I was putting my father's ticket in the little basket for him, and the guy was like, "Hey, are you under 25?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You licensed?" so he gave me an extra ticket. And I ended up winning a TalkPod Chinese something radio, courtesy of the CFARC club. Anyways, I am just kind of sitting here cleaning up a pile of Spectrum receivers that appeared when we swapped from Spectrum to Futaba, and kind of just looking over a couple of RC car things related to that, and seeing how well everything can be cleaned up here. Just before I came into the net here, I almost pulled the radio off the shelf because the desk is now about a foot higher off the ground, and the mic cable is just a little bit shorter than it was before, and hopefully that radio stays up there in the shelf. Anyways, I don't have anything else for the net. Just wanted to check in and say hello to everybody on the net here. So I'll say 73s and listen out, KE8WVV.
Well, we are glad you did check in with us. Good to have you part of the net, Ethan. Glad you enjoyed the Ham Fest, and congratulations on winning a TalkPod radio. Very good. Who knows if it was the extra ticket or you would have won it anyway, but hey, an extra chance never hurts. Thanks for joining us, Ethan, and 73s to you. We're going to clear with KE8WVV, and next up is KF8 DTP, Lori. Good to have you part of the net this evening, Lori. Thanks for checking in with us. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And W2JLS is on deck.
W8WKY from KF8DTP. My answer to the trivia, I'm going to go with A. And just so everybody knows, I'm the wife of KE8UIB. I finally got my license, everyone. So, well, with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Net Control. 7-3, y'all.
Well, congratulations, Lori. Gosh, I wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have said something. I know you when I see you, but I didn't recognize you on the air. So, very good. Thank you for checking in with us. Congratulations on your license. And I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha. So, hope to hear you much more on the air. We're going to clear with KF8DTP, and we now go to W2JLS. Good evening, John. Thanks for checking in with us on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And AA8CT is on deck.
Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee. Jerry out there in Shreve. Good evening on your ears, sir, and to everyone out there on the net. My answer will be Aglet. Aglet. I'm not sure what letter that was, but I like that choice, Aglet. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. Just amazed at we're like approaching the tax deadline, for example. It's like we're hanging into mid-April, just kind of blown away by that. Yeah, it's been a full quarter for sure for me, and I hope everyone's having a good start to the year. W2JLS, passing it back. Thanks for having me, Jerry.
Well, thank you for checking in with me, John. And you're right, next Tuesday is tax day, so final day. So, yep, that's coming right up. I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha, which is Aglet. And good luck with, hopefully you have good luck with that answer. Before we go to Craig, I'm going to re-identify this as the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association weekly Tuesday night net. We meet here every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. on the W8WKY repeater. Your net control operator this evening is Jerry. That's Juliet Echo Romeo Yankee, and I am doing business as W8WKY. Okay, let's come down my way to Shreve with Alpha 8 Charlie Tango. That is Craig. Good evening to you, Craig. Thanks for checking in with me on the net. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And KE8ZZR is on deck.
W8WKY.
W8WKY. Good evening, Jerry. Well, let's start out with the trivia because everybody, it seems that A's and C's have been the two. I'm going to take B as in Bravo. Not that I know, but I figured that way we'll at least have some full coverage that way. Thank you for running the net tonight. It seems like we've got a fairly good number of check-ins. That's wonderful. The Cuyahoga Falls Hamfest was very interesting. It's the second time in recent years that I've been. I think the first one that I kind of wandered into was the one that was up at the Mapes, and this one was much, much better than that. Saw a few people that I knew, a few faces that I knew, and it was a good time. It really was. With that, I'm going to turn it back to you. This is Alpha Alpha 8, Charlie Tango, turning back to net control. Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate you doing the net tonight, and have a good evening. Take care.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the Cuyahoga Falls Hamfest. That usually is a good one. I was at the Sarah Sarah VE session, so I didn't make it there, but I don't know if you noticed or not, but when I turned on to 57, I was right behind you and followed you down to Smithville. So there you go. Thanks for checking in with me on the net this evening. I do have your trivia question answer as Bravo, which is a nib. Okay, we're going to clear with AA8CT, and that brings us to KE8ZZR Harry. Good evening to you, Harry. Thank you for joining us on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what comments do you have for us? And W8GMF is on deck.
W8WKY, this is KE8ZZR. Good evening, Jerry, and everybody else that's on the net. Let me get the trivia out of the way here first because I'll forget. I'm going to go with C. C as in Charlie. Other than that, not much happening here today. Had lunch with the Wayne County Aries people this afternoon. Good time as always. And it's just too darn cold outside to be messing around. Even though I get my mower deck on my tractor, I just don't feel like messing around in the shed right now. It's got to warm up a little bit. But meanwhile, the grass is growing, so something's going to have to give here pretty soon. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Jerry, and this is KE8ZZR Clear, 73s.
Well, sometimes it's good to not have much going on, and glad you had an enjoyable day today, and glad you checked in with us on the net this evening. I have your trivia question answer as Charlie, which is a sheaf. Okay, we'll catch up with you later, Harry. We're going to clear with KE8ZZR, and that brings us to W8GMF Gary. Good evening, Gary. Thanks for checking in with me on the net this evening. Good to hear you, and good to see you at lunch along with Harry and Eric and Doug this afternoon. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us?
Yes, evening there, Jerry, and everybody on the net. Everybody is sounding great tonight. All the signals are clean. No static or anything, just a wonderful sounding net. As Harry said, had lunch with some of them, saw some of the guys today, and enjoyed that. Other than that, as far as trivia goes, I'm gonna take my answer from the rhyming. I'm gonna go with A because it rhymes with something that has to do with a shoelace. So I'm gonna go with A because of, I learned how words that rhyme belong, like birds of a feather flock together. So I think egglet flocks together with something else. That's all I'm going to say about it, Jerry. Thanks for running the net. Everybody have a great week.
Well, that's an interesting way to choose the answer, and hopefully it works out for you. I have your trivia question and answer as A, and I'm glad you enjoyed lunch this afternoon as well. We're going to clear with W8GMF now, and we are now going to go to WO3X, and that is John. Good evening, John. Thanks for checking in with me on the net this evening. And just so everyone knows, John is going to be net control for the N8X PK multi-state 6-meter net on Sunday evening. That's at 7 o'clock on various, the 53.17, but with the various inputs. And John does a really great job with that, and I hope you check in with him. Okay, John, what do you think the answer to the trivia question is? And what else do you have for the net? And KE8UIB is on deck.
Good evening, Jerry, and all on the net. This is WO3X here in Cuyahoga Falls. Thanks for mentioning the N8X PK 6-meter multi-state net at 7 o'clock on Sunday evenings. Let's see, I'm going to, it sounds like a lot of people know what they're talking about on this shoelace tip, so I'm going to also go with A, AgNet. So, regarding the HempFest, those TalkPod radios were donated by a company that stipulated that the winners, there was more than one of those radios. They were all the same, but there were more than one. So the stipulation was that they would be raffled off to licensed amateur radio operators that were 25 years of age or under. And so we had special tickets for it. So those tickets were only for those radios. So that's how that worked. We had a really good volunteer exam session there. And there were 4 walk-ins that we were going to deal with after we got started with the pre-registered people, but 3 of them chickened out, I guess, and so one of them stayed, and he got his general. He is the son of Rich, a WA8 NPR, and so now he has his general there. So everybody that took the test except one passed. So I guess the noise there wasn't too much of a distraction. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
Well, I'm glad that the Cuyahoga Falls Hamfest went really well, and I'm glad you enjoyed it and were part of it. And everyone remember to check in with John Sunday evening on the 6-meter net. I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha, and thanks for checking in with me, John. We're going to clear with WO3X now and go to KE8UIB. Good evening, John. Thanks for checking in with me. Good to hear from you. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And KE8VZA is on deck.
WAWKY from KE8UIB. Good evening, Jerry. Everybody out there on the net, and it's a busy night at my ham shack tonight. As everybody knows, the wife got her tech license, and it was as heart racing tonight, her keying up for the first time, as it was for me keying up for the first time. That's for sure. And as far as her call sign goes, Delta Tango Papa DTP, that has a nice little ring to it, so that works out kind of good. And I'm doing the weekly messaging back and forth with my mom and dad as they're listening from Akron. So the trivia
My dad says Alpha. A. My mom says Charlie. C. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and stick with my original answer, be a little bit different, and go with B, Bravo, and see what happens. But with that, you guys, this is K8UIB, living the $5 dream a nickel at a time. I'm going to hand this back over to net control. 7-3, y'all. Thanks for running the net, Jerry.
Well, thank you to you and Lori both for checking in with me this evening. And I remember when I got licensed, my wife got licensed at the same session. It was a Sarah session, as well. They were still having them at the Rittman Fire Department. But anyway, yeah, I was more proud of her getting it than I was of myself. It was really special that we got our licenses together and we had consecutive call signs. And because we're lucky enough to get consecutive call signs, we said we'd never change our call signs, and never have. But anyway, great to have both of you here, and I have your trivia question answer as Bravo, John, your dad's as Alpha, and your mother's as C. So very good. We'll catch up with you later. We're going to clear with KE8UIB now, and that brings us to KE8VZA, Eric. Good evening, Eric. Good to have you part of the net this evening, and thank you for checking in with me. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what comments do you have for us?
WAWKY in the group. KE8VZA here. Thanks, Jerry, for picking me up and running the net. For trivia, I'm going to go with Alpha. And what else? Congrats to Lori on her new license, KF8EPP, if I got it right. That's pretty cool. I'm now part of the Meshtastic community, scratching the surface of it. I bought a node, and I broke the screen on it, bought another one, and then once I got the other one and set it up, I figured out that the first one still works. You just can't use the screen, but you can access it with the phone or web browser. So anyway, I've been taking it with me to and from work, and picked up some nodes on the way, and not quite sure what else I'm doing with it. I mean, I can send messages to my nodes back and forth, but I plan to be at the little session before the meeting next week. Should be very helpful. Let's see, 10-meter net tonight with Norris was a no-go for me. I could only hear two people, and could not hear net control, so that's a bummer. And that's really cool, Jerry, about you and your XYL call signs being consecutive. I like that. That's very cool. My wife and I have consecutive phone numbers. Not quite as cool, but it's something. Anyway, Trivia's Alpha, and thanks, Jerry. Back to you, KE8VZA.
Well, congratulations for being part of the Meshtastic community. I am as well, even though there are no nodes within range of me. But, hey, somebody's got to start the ball rolling, right? So, anyway, I do have your trivia question marked as Alpha, and I look forward to seeing you at the meeting next week. And we'll catch up with you on the net before then, I'm sure. We're going to clear with KE8VZA, and that takes us to Northern Mark, KC8FQV. Good evening to you, Mark. Good to have you as part of the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And WD8LLA is on deck.
KCFQV. I think it's going to say Anglet. Anglet. And not much else are happening. We just went. My mom went to the doctor's today, and we went down to a house. My sister there, we have a house. Went down, checked to see what there was and how one of the rentals, and we're in the process of unloading that one. Yeah, that one. We're in that process of getting that one sent out to pasture. Someone else can have it. Someone else can raise the house. We're done with feeding that one. So once we get that one put out to pasture however, we just want someone to buy it. But yeah, we stopped down there. Then we went
Mexican. Yeah. Went up to what was at one time very dominating, the Aurora Farms, and they got a restaurant up there now. Well, they used to have the Amish-style restaurant there, and then now they got another one in another building where Malley's Chocolate used to be. And there's a Mexican in there, so a Mexican restaurant. So we ate there tonight and came home. So everything else is going good. So, yeah, tax time. You got 1 week to get them stomped. Yep, give them stomped 1 week from today. Yeah, we did that last year. Well, they're back here now at the house. So we just got to go through and check them and put them together. They were done. I went and picked them up yesterday. We got an email over the weekend or last Friday or whatever. So they're here. We'll get them all done and take them down to the post office here in town and not go downtown Cleveland. Last year we went downtown Cleveland and dropped them off. So this year we'll do them. We'll get them done before then. So, everything else, Hamfest is really good. I remember in past years we have gone to the Falls Hamfest where we've had snow, a foot of snow it seemed like. Other times we had fog where you couldn't even see where you were going. Other times we had monsoon rains. You know, we've had a little bit of everything going to that fest, but we've always gotten through. But this year was a nice and calm one, basically. Yeah, the parking lot looked very healthy. Yeah, well, the parking lot probably was complaining because it had too much cars on it. I venture that the parking lot was, hey, we ain't seen this many cars. Well, yeah, we did have a lot of cars there. Yeah, I found where On Tap was right across the street. I went there, I had lunch afterward at the On Tap Grill. I didn't know where they were exactly in Cauga Falls. Well, the thing is, Cauga Falls is so big, I'm going to reset. Yeah, Cauga Falls sort of seems like it goes and goes and goes and goes, but they got different areas of commercial and they got different areas residential. They got, you know, there's the old part, you know, where the Fall Hamfest was just down the street. That used to be, back in the day, a big shopping center. Then went dormant so long, and now they revived it with different things. It's a cycle, I guess, the life cycle of things. But, yeah, that was a good Hamfest over the weekend. So, we'll send it back to your way, Jerry, KC8FQV.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the Hamfest, and glad it was well attended. It sounds like it. So very good. Good to have you part of the net, Mark, and we'll catch up with you on the net later in the week for sure. We're going to clear with KC8FQV now, and we go now to WD8LLA. Good evening to you, Neil. Good to have you on the air again, and good to have you part of the net. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us?
W8WKY, this is Whiskey Delta 8, Lima Alpha. Good evening, Jerry, and everyone that's on the net tonight. Hope everybody's keeping warm. This weather's hard on arthritis. I had a morning today, it's one of them head scratchers. My friend Gary, WC8W, down at the nursing home. I don't know whether his roommate or somebody, they pulled the coax out of the back of his radio. Anyhow, I got my soldering gun and all the tools and went down, and I hate putting ends on connectors that the most of anything to do with ham. I've probably got 30, 40 cables made up here.
W8WKY.
So anyhow, at 80 years old, I haven't did it for a while. I couldn't believe how bad I was shaking with the solder gun, trying to hold the connector and solder, and you guys know how that goes. But anyhow, I finally got it good and had it all working. Went to reroute around the bed, and 4 feet below that there was a barrel connector. I could have took a cable down, so I'm still scratching my head, but I'm going to go with C. I like the rhyme of A. It sounds right, but I think C, if that was stay, that's to stay together. Anyhow, thanks for running the net, Jerry, and everybody in this club. It's a wonderful club. WD8LLA, back to net control, and I'll be going for the night.
That was really great of you to go to your friend's room and fix his radio so he could get back on the air again. And, yeah, if you don't do something for a while, you kind of lose confidence in your skills in it. But great to have you part of the net. Great to hear you back on the air. And I look forward to hearing you more soon. And I do have your trivia question answer as Charlie. Okay, we're clear with WD8LLA, and that brings us to K4OG. Good evening, Mark. I didn't have to worry about tromping on you tonight. Good to have you part of the net, and thanks for checking in with me. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us?
W8WKY, K4OG, good evening, Jerry, and everybody on the net. Well, yeah, I had a great time at that Hamfest this weekend. Man, I was a big spender. I spent a whopping $1 on a bag of diodes. I won something. I'm not quite sure what it was. I opened up the box. I think it was a sound converter to convert sound to your computer, which my radios, they already got that. So I gave that box to HRF, Josh, and maybe somebody will have a need for it. I saw Kilo Foxtrot 8 Delta Tango Papa down there, but she wasn't Delta Tangoing with Papa at the time. Let's see. It was great. Eric, I'm glad you got 2 Mesh-tastics. I'm in the Mesh-tastic family. Seems like you can troubleshoot better with 2 Mesh-tastics. I set mine up, and it was doing pretty good here, and then I upgraded the antenna. I couldn't tell quite if that was an improvement, and so then I upgraded to a more iffy firmware, and now I'm not getting anybody. I'm like, oh, no. And I read somewhere where you're not supposed to turn it on without an antenna connected. Well, that makes sense, but I think I did that once or twice. So I don't know if I broke mine yet or not. But anyway, I need to help Eric out with the questions and answers here. So here we go. AGLIT. Now that's an abbreviation for a good little effective tube. So that's my answer. NIB, that's new in box on eBay. Sheath is something for bigger than a pocket knife. I may not have heard that right, but it doesn't matter. That's C, and it don't count. Knock, well, that's the start of a seemingly never-ending round of jokes. K4OG, back to net.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the Cuyahoga Falls Hamfest as well, and that you are into Mesh-tastic. And I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha, so and a good explanation of those distractors there. Okay, we are going to clear with K4OG. That is the bottom of the list I have. If anyone's out there waiting to check in and you would like to be able to answer the trivia question, you can check in now by using your call sign followed by your name.
This is Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet, KA8 LYJ, Bob in Barberton, although I didn't hear the trivia question.
This is Kilo Delta 8 Echo Papa Charlie, KD8EPC, Dustin and Medina. I'm just in and out tonight, Jerry.
Kilo Charlie 0 Lima Romeo Mike, Kelly in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I didn't hear the question either.
Okay, we've added KA8LYJ Bob, KD8EPC Dustin, who is in and out. Thank you for your check-in, Dustin. Good to hear from you. And KC0LRM Kelly. Okay, let's go to W8ELM, our trivia master, who is Eric, and have him reread the question, and then we'll be back to you guys for your answers. Eric, you are up.
W8WKY from W8ELM. Well, that little plastic sleeve thingy on the end of a shoelace that allows for easy insertion into the eyelet of a shoe is called A, alpha, an aglet, B, bravo, a nib, C, Charlie, a sheath, or D, delta, a knock. The plastic sleeve on the end of a shoelace that allows easy insertion into the eyelet of a shoe is called A, an aglet, B, a nib, C, a sheath, or D, a knock. Back to net.
Well, thank you for rereading the question, Eric. And that is, like I say, a real head-scratcher. Okay, we are going to go to KA8LYJ. Good evening, Bob. Thanks for checking in with us this evening, and congratulations on your first VE session. Good job there. Okay, and what do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And KC0LRM is on deck.
Okay, W8WKY, this is KA8LYJ. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was an honor to sit in. Like I said earlier, I would have been content just to sit there and learn, but I was given an opportunity to actually physically participate, and it was a good experience. And I look forward to the next several. Sorry I missed the Cuyahoga Falls Hamfest. It sounds like it was a great time. I was at a Tartan Day event, celebration of Scottish American heritage with the XYL and the youngest Grandspawn. So I wasn't able to make that. As far as the trivia question, yeah, I know this one. It's alpha. And back to net control.
Well, I am glad that you had a good experience with the VE session, and look forward to seeing you at more of them. And Scottish American thing, that sounds like a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us, Bob, and we'll catch up with you again later. KD8EPC was in and out, so that brings us to KC0LRM Kelly. Good evening to you, Kelly. Thanks for your check-in this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us?
Oh, hey, thanks for getting me in there. Well, he's probably right on A, but I hadn't heard anybody say D, and I know the knock is probably has still a little archery, so I think that's on an archery thing, but I'm going to go with D just for the heck of it. A little something different since I can't pick a Cornwaldo bean. And not a lot going on here. I think this is my first time on this particular net. I get on the beacon pretty frequently, but I think this is my first time on this one. I occasionally get on the barometer. I'll put this on my calendar and keep a mind on it. Hope everybody out there is having a good one. And nice to hear Dustin and Eric and some other people on there. Everybody have a good one. I don't know, y'all are staying a little cold up there. We're in the 70s here, and we're enjoying it. That's about all I got for the net. I'll let you get some more check-ins there, and everybody have a good one at 73s.
thank you for checking in with us, Kelly. Yeah, we're here every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and you're welcome anytime. And I do have your trivia question answer as Delta, and it's a lot warmer where you are than I am. So anyway, good to hear you. Well, we're after 9 o'clock now, so let's go to W8ELM Eric for the answer to the trivia question and any comments that he has. Eric, take it away.
W8WKY from W8ELM. I think it was about 1969. I was down at The Ohio State University in Columbus, and it was time to take my first organic chemistry exam. And the prof told us that the exam would consist of 25 multiple choice questions. And I thought, oh, great, we'll be done in 5 minutes. Well, maybe not quite that quick. When I got to the exam, there were 25 multiple choice questions, and the choices for each question ran from A through Q. So, only had 4 choices tonight, and everybody did pretty well. I'm sure better than I did on my chemistry exam. The correct answer is A, an aglet. Aglets have existed since ancient Roman times. Some of the wealthiest Romans would have aglets made out of gold or silver and engraved and everything, but they're much simpler today than they would have been back then. The word derives from the French aiguille, and that means needle, so you can kind of understand where it came from. A nib, choice B, is the pointed end of a pen, or it could be shelled and crushed coffee or cocoa beans. C, a sheath could be a protective cover for a knife or a sword or a cable, such as electrical cable or something of that nature. D, a knock would be a notch at either end of a bow for holding the bowstring. Or it could be the notch at the back end of an arrow to fit the arrow to the bowstring. Now both C, a sheath, and D, a knock, can also be verbs. So you can sheath your Bowie knife. That means you put it back in the holder. Or you could knock an arrow on the bowstring. So that's it for tonight. We had, gosh, I haven't even counted them up here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 answers if we include John's dad in there. So very good. The next trivia question will have choices from A to Q. Back to Net.
Well, thank you for the trivia question, Eric. You always have great trivia questions, and I always enjoy them. And thanks for being part of the net and being trivia master. Okay, hope, well, most of you got it right, so very good. We will let people now who are going to the WatchNet in on the Millersburg repeater go. It's 146.670 megahertz, PL 71.9, and check in with Charlie if you can. If we have anyone else who would like to check in to the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association weekly Tuesday night net, you can do so now by using your call sign followed by your name.
KF8DTA, Jeff.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Tango Alpha.
We have added the KF8, DTA Jeff. Do we have anyone else who would like to check into the net? Okay, nothing heard. So let's go to KF8, DTA. Good evening, Jeff. I don't believe you've ever checked in with me before. I'm taking it you're probably a new licensee, but great to have you part of the net this evening. Do you have any comments for us?
Thank you, sir. I've just got my technician at the Ham Radio Fest in Cog Falls, and really excited about learning and meeting people on the air.
Well, congratulations to you. Welcome to the world of amateur radio, and I think it's the best hobby in the world, and there's so many directions you can go with it, and you could never learn it all. So it's just the beginning of the journey, and it's great to have you as part of it, and hope you'll check in with us whenever you can. And thank you for pushing that PTT button. It's great to have you on the air. Okay, that's the bottom of the net here, so we'll close things up. I'd like to thank everyone who checked in this evening, whether it was in and out or you made comments and took a guess at the trivia question. I enjoyed taking every one of your check-ins and hearing your comments, and look forward to hearing you again next Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. So for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association, this is Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa, returning the repeater to regular amateur use. 7-3.
W8WKY.